After being diagnosed at an early age with a rare autoimmune disease, later Crohn's disease, Carson has lived by his motto: when life hands you lemons, make a difference. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So, Carson.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here tonight. It's an honor to be here tonight among so many of Robin's friends, family, and co-workers that knew and loved Robin so much and that keep her spirit alive. I was born in 2004, which means many of you have been coming to this golf tournament before I was even born. Not to make you feel old, sorry. It also means that I unfortunately never had the opportunity to meet Robin. I have no doubt, however, that our paths somehow would have crossed, either at TJX, where my dad has worked on September 11th, or through a shared passion of helping others who suffer with Crohn's disease. In 2011, when I was 7 years old, I began experiencing unexplained swelling and cobblestoning in my mouth and cheeks. My symptoms would often come and go faster than we could schedule a doctor's appointment. My mom started taking pictures to document the increasing frequency and severity of inflammation on my lips, sores on the roof of my mouth, and rash-like splotches around my cheeks, and had nothing short of an online portfolio ready for any of the many specialists that I started seeing. After baffling a handful of doctors in Worcester County, we headed to Boston Children's Hospital. We were certain that they would have an answer. My first appointment was with an ENT. He examined me, looked over my infamous online portfolio, reviewed previous blood work, and then looked at my mom and said, "I don't have a clue, but you don't stop us here at Boston Children's Hospital." My mom received a call later that day inquiring if anyone in our family had ever been diagnosed with Crohn's disease or colitis. She hadn't even heard of it before, much less knew of a family member which had been diagnosed. Within a week, I had an appointment scheduled in their IBD clinic with a gastroenterologist and an oral surgeon for a further consult. Shortly after that, I had my first colonoscopy and series of tests. I was diagnosed with orofacial granulomatosis, a rare form of Crohn's disease with oral manifestation in the absence of Crohn's in the intestines. My team of doctors quickly grew to include my favorite GI, Dr. Michael Doctor, an oral surgeon, otolaryngologist, dermatologist, and a rheumatologist. And yes, my doctor's name is actually Dr. Doctor. I immediately began treatment for OFG and would have yearly colonoscopies to check to see if the Crohn's had traveled to my intestines. Now, if you're cringing at the mention of a colonoscopy, it's not that bad, take it from me. I actually made a game out of my last prep in 2015. As an aspiring politician, I was watching the news and a presidential candidate was making an announcement. I had 4 hours of colonoscopy prep next. For every time a candidate spoke about another candidate or interrupted a candidate, I had to take a shot. And I kind of finished in 15 minutes. Might not do that one again. That year, in September 2015, at 11 years old, I was officially diagnosed with Crohn's in my intestines as well as my mouth. Thankfully, I had always been taught that life is 5% of what happens to you and 95% of how you respond to it. I had no control over being diagnosed with a lifelong illness with no cure, but I have chosen to embrace the challenges of the disease, manage it, and then use it to help others. I choose to never allow Crohn's to define me. Instead, I continuously choose to define it. So what's it like to have Crohn's? It's very tiring. I used to take about 5 to 8 pills every day, and on Fridays require an injection, which was talked about earlier, of Humira in my leg. Despite my perfect medication compliance, flares can still come on with no warning. Due to the trauma from the ulcers and fissures in my mouth, I often have to adjust what I eat and will need to turn to yogurt and Italian ice for nutrition and comfort. I have to constantly balance my activities with rest. If I'm on the go all day and don't take time to rest, I will not only be exhausted, but will be in pain to the point that I can't even concentrate. This often means adjusting school or eliminating my social activities to have enough stamina just to attend school. When my mouth flares, it's usually a good indication that my stomach will soon follow. I always need to be cautious of my immune system and staying away from people or environments that may cause me to get sick. Having Crohn's disease means a ton of doctor's appointments. Since I was first diagnosed with OFG in 2011, I have had over 150 clinical appointments with specialists alone, not even including inpatient and primary care appointments. That also translates to a lot of missed time from school, as mentioned earlier. On average, between doctor's appointments and not feeling well, I miss around 6 weeks of school per year. As school becomes more challenging, and so does keeping up with classwork and homework, I'm grateful for a caring and supportive academic environment that has fostered the use of Skype technology to enable me to stay connected to my classmates in lessons while not physically in class. One thing that I quickly realized about having Crohn's disease was the amazing support system that it came with. In the summer of 2016, I first attended the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation Camp Oasis, where I instantly felt connected with my fellow campers, as each one either had Crohn's or colitis and experienced similar daily challenges. The camp staff was made up of entirely peer counselors with IBD, as well as doctors, nurses, and social workers who knew our disease as well. Matt Townsend, aka the snowman in the picture, my favorite counselor, played Division I basketball at Yale and earned a full scholarship to Oxford University in England. He was an incredible role model that proved that Crohn's is no match for the strong-willed. Our days were filled with cool activities like swimming, archery, kayaking, and tennis, yet I'm not ready for Wimbledon. I even raced Dr. Doctor in a rock wall climbing, and let me tell you, definitely was not his first time. He may have had height advantage, I don't know what it was, but he won. Thankfully, everyone's schedules were built in with downtime to recharge for the next fun-filled event. One of the best parts of camp was that I didn't have to remember to take my medication. They delivered it to me every day. Picture Crohn's and colitis room service. Everyone there was truly committed to us enjoying the beautiful outdoors, each other, and just being kids. The other 51 weeks a year when Crohn's is not a distant memory, I'm often at the Massachusetts State House meeting with elected officials, advocating for telemedicine and the positive impact it would have on the lives of everyone with chronic illness. I am one of the fortunate Crohn's warriors. I've been taught to advocate for the medical needs of myself and others, whether in school, at the doctors, among my peers, or in Beacon Hill. My dad's employer offers great health insurance and prescription coverage. The retail cost for my injections alone would be over $10,000 a month without coverage or assistance. I'm fortunate enough that my mom has been self-employed and is there every time I need her and doesn't have to choose between taking care of me or her obligation to her employer. I have a team of doctors who treat me as a whole person, not just as a disease. I've witnessed the power of kids at Camp Oasis uniting under their disease and helping one another. In the few years alone that I've had Crohn's disease, I've seen research dollars that I've helped raise actually work. The weekly Humira injection that I mentioned earlier, it used to feel like someone was driving nails under my skin and lighting them on fire, and I'm not exaggerating. But less than 6 weeks ago, the FDA approved and immediately released to the pediatric population a formula without citrate buffers that takes out the horrendous pain. And let me tell you, not only does it work like magic, but it will be a game changer for those patients that need Humira, but the injections themselves are unbearable. Crohn's disease has ignited a passion in me to help others and to make the world a better place. But tonight, I need your help to ensure that one day, no other child or adult is ever diagnosed with Crohn's disease. We need to keep raising funds for research and cures, and I need a cure by my presidency in 2044. So tonight, before you head out to the casino, I want you to dig deep inside your pockets. No, not just for me, or all the 1.6 million people who suffer from IBD in the United States, but for all.